So, we finally learned last night that Final Fantasy XV will be hitting stores worldwide on September 30th of this year. And of course, that means that the game can now be pre-ordered, an option highlighted oh so handily several times in the demo Square Enix have just released. So, does it leave me frothing at the mouth for the next Final Fantasy game like I did when I was an optimistic 11-year-old anticipating the release of Final Fantasy IX? Well, not really. Now, in fairness, the demo only lasts between 20 and 30 minutes depending on how long you stop to smell the roses. So it's really just a primer to introduce you to the protagonist Noctis and some of the game's key mechanics. Though the game can obviously be hugely polished in the next 6 months, this brief preview just didn't really thrill me or suggest to me that the series is going to do much to bounce back from the hugely divisive Final Fantasy XIII. The first thing that struck me upon the demo kicking off was that the visuals felt really lacking compared to the gameplay we've been shown so far. I don't want to unduly call the game downgraded, but it seemed to lack the visual pop of what we've seen in official trailers. That's not to say that it looks bad, because it certainly doesn't, but it falls a little short of the gorgeousness I was both hoping for and expecting. More troublingly, the frame rate was very clearly struggling to maintain a steady 30 FPS, and it gave me an unsavoury flashback to recoiling at Until Dawn's ghastly, barely 20s frame rate from last summer. The gist of the demo is that you play as a young Noctis as he wakes up in a dream world where he's guided around by a cutesy summon known as Carbuncle. Note that by completing the demo, Carbuncle will be unlocked as a summon if you decide to buy the full game. In typical Final Fantasy style, you shouldn't really be looking for much logical coherence here. It's a dream, so what did you really expect? Noctis collects yellow crystals, you can stand on platforms which influence the time and weather, as well as transform you into a litany of bizarre creatures and even a truck at one point, all while you attempt to find a way out of the dream. Players will also get a chance to sample the game's combat against a series of blue nightmare creatures. This is another sticking point for me, though one that I can't entirely write off on the basis of a short demo. Do I just need to get used to the new combat as I did in Final Fantasy XIII? Or are the controls and stiffness of it just unrefined clunk? The jury remains out, but again, I'm just not sold yet. Though I did enjoy the surreal sequence in which Noctis is shrunk down to size for its sheer barminess, overall the demo just lands with a feeling of, is that it? Perhaps Square Enix is so confident in the fanbase's insatiable desire for more that they don't feel overly compelled to release much more than a piecemeal teaser. If the end product is as visually lackluster and just generally underwhelming as this, they may as well have not even bothered with the demo. And we finally return to our opening question. Should you pre-order the game? Even for the standards of a demo, this is an incredibly base preview, where the inventory and HUD are heavily restricted from what we've seen in later gameplay, and what passes for a boss fight here doesn't really get the blood pumping in that classic Final Fantasy way that we all want, right? The hardcore crowd would pre-order even if the demo were a flaming train wreck, but I'll certainly be waiting on at least reviews, if not a price drop, before I throw down £40 for the final product. I want to believe that this will be a return to form for the series, but this just doesn't convince me. Thanks for watching, and I'll be here from dusk till dawn.